Introduction would probably be clear, not more than that. So I would like to invite you first to speak. Would you like to sit down or would you like to go? Okay, that's fine.
Namaste. Good morning, Baki Sarje. Thank you so much for the introduction and inviting me, Professor Sangrola, the moderator of this session. My respected Comrade J.N. Khanal, the former Prime Minister of Nepal, who has cordially invited me and all of you to attend this very important event today. पछाडि बस्ने साथीहरूलाई मेरो हार्दिक निवेदन छ। अघि पनि हाम्रो आयोजक साथीहरूले अनुरोध गर्नुभएको छ, कृपया बसिदिनु होला र सुनिदिनु होला।
Hello. Our colleagues in the back side, the noise is really disturbing, so please could you come in front and stop talking? It's very noisy and it's really difficult to make the presentation.
Professor sir, Nepali mai bhundinu होला नि हजुर। आजको कार्यक्रम विदेशी पाहुनाहरू पनि हुनुभएकोले नेपालीमा नगरी अङ्ग्रेजीमा गरिएको छ। कृपया उहाँहरूको सम्मानको लागि पनि यो अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय भाषाबाट सञ्चालन हुने सेसनमा ध्यान दिएर सुनिदिनुला भनेर म पुनः एकचोटि आग्रह गर्न चाहन्छु। यदि यहाँहरूलाई साँच्चैकै छलफल गर्नु छ र कुराकानी भेटेको होला धेरै दिनपछि बाहिर चियासँगै छलफल गर्नु भए पनि हुन्छ, कृपया हलमा चाहिँ धेरै परदेखि आउनु भएको छ विदेशी पाहुनाहरू, उहाँहरूको सम्मानको लागि र प्रस्तुति दिनेहरूको पनि अनुरोध सुनेर अलि मौन बसिदिनु होला भन्ने मेरो आग्रह गर्न चाहन्छु। So, with the permission of the moderator, who is also chairing this session, I would like to proceed ahead. I am privileged to make this presentation as the first presenter of this technical session. I have accepted this invitation with my deep gratitude, however, with humility. Honestly, I was a bystander of Belt and Road Initiative. I was an observer, staying at the last bench of the class of BRI. And I was thinking, BRI was not a cup of my tea for many years. Though I have been visiting Xi'an, the starting point of Silk Road in the history, since 2018, BRI has only been my area of interest but not expertise. At this moment, I'm given 20 minutes to speak on BRI, which has a history of more than 2,000 years, spanning tens of thousands of miles of networks, reaching more than 150 countries in the world. It's a great story, which is also known as New Silk Road. I have entitled my presentation, the BRI, the Belt and Road Initiative, a New Silk Road, vision of time, trade, and togetherness. Time, I wanted to speak a little bit touching upon the history of the BRI, how it has been remodeled from the ancient Silk Road. Trade for me is exchange of goods and services, which includes not only the money, the exchange of checks, money, but more than that, ideas, culture, science, technology, and innovation, and finally the togetherness, a vision of togetherness where we see the future of shared human communities. For me, the Belt and Road Initiative is more than just infrastructure and trade. Let me reinstate BRI is a vision for a shared global future and more prosperous humanity. At its core, the BRI weaves together a network and interconnection, more lands and maritime routes, facilitating the movement of people, the exchange of science, technology, culture, ideas, societies, and civilization. So much like the ancient Silk Road, the BRI served as a conduit for the transmission of religion, languages, philosophies, and artistic tradition. As I can see here, we have now two pictures, the ancient Silk Road and the modern BRI, the Belt and Road Initiative. The BRI is rooted in the philosophy of a global community with a shared future. This vision was championed by President Xi Jinping of China. Interestingly, the concept of BRI first emerged not in a political or economic or trade consortium. It first emerged in an academic circles. It first mentioned the shared future of humanity in his speech at the Moscow State Institute of International Relations in March 2030. And he first mentioned about Silk Road, a new Silk Road, at the gathering of Nazarbayev University in Astana, Kazakhstan, again in 2013. You can find both the addresses either in Xinhua Institute's website. For me, I found it in the website of the Tokyo University of Japan. President Xi was deeply interested. He was deeply influenced by Silk Road because he grew up near Xi'an, a small rural village called Yangchuan. In his speech at Astana, he retold how the Emperor Wu of Han 2000 years ago asked and sent his envoy Chang Qian on a mission to Central Asia to seek peace and forge alliances. It was the time when there was war, hostility, and banditry were rampant. It was an extraordinary challenge with treacherous landscapes, vast deserts, yet Chang Qian successfully completed his mission, though he fell in the first attempt, but he was successful in the second attempt. At the moment when he gave his address, President Xi mentioned very interesting and deeply philosophical sentence, a Kazakh statement. He said, "The history of land is the history of its people." So as I mentioned, this is the picture of the envoy Chang Qian, who went to Central Asia with a message of Wu of Han. And the road he made became later the Silk Road. The Silk Road in the history, it was a remarkable more than 6,000 kilometer trade route linking China, the Middle East, and Europe. Later, it also linked India, Pakistan, Nepal, and many other countries in South Asia. It facilitated the exchange of goods and commodities between these regions. But significantly, it was a hub of cross-cultural interaction and intellectual exchange. The Buddhism, which is practiced in China by the majority of its people, reached to China from Nepal and India via Silk Road. Had there was no Silk Road, there was no possibility of Buddhism reaching China. A Buddhist scholar, Xuan Chan, we call him Wen San in Nepal, is a part of our school curriculum, who had been to India and also Nepal. He went back to China after a travel of 15 years long, visiting Nalanda, learning Pali language, and then translating the Buddhist sutras as a testimony to this knowledge transfer, there is a pagoda, white big goods pagoda in Xi'an, where I have been working for the last 6 or 7 years. Not only that, Apple shell, which is part of our diets today, was also disseminated from the Silk Road. Perhaps you are aware, Astana, the capital city of Kazakhstan, means the city or settlement which is near Apple. So Apple was also transported through the Silk Road. Not only that, many of the pets, especially the cats, Biral, which is a therapeutic animal, so cute and loved by millions of people in the world today, was also transported through Silk Road some 1400 years ago. This was revealed recently by a scientific studies. In China, they have 70 million cats today, 7 crore biral, and they were actually a gift of the Central Asia to the noble people in the past, and now it has become a pet at household. So this is how Silk Road played a great role in exchange of not only the goods and trade, but also made a part of the life.
Professor Bhuju, could you finish your presentation in 5 minutes?
Sure. So moving forward, the Silk Road created opportunities. The history of Silk Road ended almost after the Industrial Revolution. As you can see here, in these 300 years, the total wealth of humanity, world wealth, it increased from mere 2 trillion to more than 100 trillion. The GDP per capita today is $12,000 per person, which was nearly $600 300 years ago. Also, the lifespan of the humanity, which was merely 35 years till 200 years ago, now it is more than 70. So that's the progress made by humanity. However, there is disparity. The disparity is that the global south have less than $5,000 per annum, while the north rich countries, they have more than $57,000. It is said the world's more than 70% of wealth is amassed by the north rich countries. But whose wealth is that? They were all collected from the so-called South poor countries. So, we need to change it. We have to bring a change here. Given this backdrop, a new Silk Road became essential. Thankfully, China took a lead and brought this idea of the BRI. The next interesting part of the Silk Road, I mean the new Silk Road of the BRI, is that I'm taking an example of Christmas. The Christmas decorations and gifts are among the most coveted items for the children in the West, especially America and Europe. It's a part of the Christianity, it's a part of the Christian religion. But you know, more than 90% of the Christmas gifts are produced by Chinese people who are or who believe in Buddhism, who are in a country of secular. That's another very interesting part. Only China can do it without a prejudice of any religion through the BRI. Very recently, China organized a science, technology, and innovation conference, and the role of BRI, and thus the scientific research, technology development, and innovation have become a crucial pillar of the BRI. For example, through this, more than 80 countries have already signed bilateral agreements. And there are 50 research laboratories and 70 technology innovation parks in making. Just a simple example of Kenya, which is producing its flora with the help of BRI. More interestingly, the countries like Pakistan, Azerbaijan, and even UAE, the United Arab Emirates, they are working with China under the BRI project to reach to the moon by 2030. In 2019, the scientific journal Nature assessed research progress in BRI participating countries. It concluded that those countries involved in BRI were making significant strides in science, technology, and innovation. More than 26,000 young scientists from the global south have already taken research training in China, and every year they are getting more than 300 PhD scholarships, which are taught in Chinese academic sciences and also in the TWAS, that is the third World Academy of Sciences. Thus, while the wealthy nations are curtailing, reducing their involvement in science and technology, China's sustained investment in research through the BRI is reshaping the global scientific landscape. So finally, let me conclude that the BRI has long been symbolized humanity's natural inclination towards movement, trade, and cultural exchange. It represents a modern continuation of this legacy, fostering a global, interconnected future built on shared prosperity. As the 21st century unfolds, the initiative stands as a testament to the enduring power of connectivity in shaping civilization and fostering global progress. Thank you so much for your kind attention.
Thank you.